And many of them don't know where to start, so let's bring them some answers. Here now is Dave Ramsey, a radio host and author of Baby Steps Millionaires. Dave, thanks for joining me. I have a question I want to ask you from one of our viewers. It's Julia H., and she writes, I'm preparing for retirement in 1.5 years. I'm thinking of moving out of California and looking at Tennessee or South Carolina. Is there a questionnaire or checklist to identify the best strategies to maximize taxes and stretch funds to live a good life? I don't know if I should sell or rent my California home. How do I draw my funds in retirement? So Dave, what advice do you have for our viewer?
Well, she's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
I live in Tennessee, and we've got a lot of California refugees have moved in, and trying to get their lives back. So anytime you move away from a state for whatever reason, always sell your home. So she's going to sell that California home, and she's going to move to South Carolina or to Tennessee. Both of those states have no income tax, and so her tax situation is going to change pretty dramatically. As far as drawing down on her retirement accounts, we don't have much information from this particular email, so sit down with your financial advisor. If you're 70 and a half, there's a required minimum distribution that begins on a standard 401k or traditional IRA, but you can look at the nest egg you have and set it up your budget to where you live off of the golden eggs that the goose is producing, and that's what you're going to want to set up.
So Dave, just thinking about your finances, is it smart to get out of one of these high tax states and get to a low tax, no tax state?
Well, based on the population movement, apparently it is.
Right.
We're seeing a tremendous move out of California and out of New York, and most of them are moving to Texas, Tennessee, Florida,
Yep.
Alabama, these types of states where there is no income tax, and where the reaction to COVID was much more free and open, and it wasn't as draconian. And so I think that has been it's caused a whole population shift in the United States.
Well, Dave, if you're in a no-tax state, maybe I'll take that as good advice. Maybe I should get to a no-tax state myself. But, Dave, I want to bring back in our panel. We have Sandra, John, and Michelle. And, Dave, I know you've been listening to their stories. And do you have any advice for them in what you heard from our conversation?
Well, I mean, Sandra, you guys are both veterans. Thank you for your service. We appreciate it, and as an American, I wish we were paying you enough that you didn't have to deal with all this. You served your country, and your retirement should have taken care of that. And I'm kind of ashamed that we haven't done a better job for you after what you've done. So the thing for all three of you is, and I learned this when I went broke years ago, and I've taught people this all over America, is when you do a written budget, when you make every dollar behave, it goes to the most important things. You prioritize, and when the inflation is squeezing some of the dollars out, you're going to end up squeezing out some of the luxury items or things that aren't pure necessities. And so you're already doing that. You're shopping carefully at the grocery store. You're limiting your drives and so forth. And Michelle, I mean, where you're down to noodles and no meat, that one broke my heart hearing that. You single moms are warriors in our culture. You're a warrior princess girl. You can do this. And I know in the notes that I got that there's an extra car involved, and an extra car for teenagers is a luxury. And when you're heating up noodles with butter, you're not in luxury zone. So you're going to be selling that car, even if it hurts somebody's feelings. And I got a feeling that the teenagers aren't going to like Dave Ramsey, but that's nothing new. So, but you're doing all you can do with what you got. You're working your butt off, and you're paying attention. And our government ought to do a lot better job of managing the pump and managing the energy independence, which would allow these gas prices to stay down. And the White House has frankly done a horrible job for you. And but you can't control them. They're just doing what they're doing over there. So you can do that. Do the things you can do with what you've got. And John, in you guys' situation, you got a lot on your plate, man. A young family. You got a lot of balls in the air. You're doing, wife's in grad school. You're looking to buy a house. You're trying to do 63 things at once, and you got a lot of real important things that you're considering. And what we've had to do at the Ramsey household, and what we've taught people to do for years, is not try to balance all of those things. Instead, prioritize them. If we could only do one, what are we going to do? If we can only do two of these things, what are we going to do? And it may mean the house, move up in house waits a little while until mom finishes grad school. It may mean mom's grad school waits until we get the house. I don't care which one you choose, but you're probably going to choose one over the other and do them in an order. It's not to say we're not ever going to do them, but which ones are first instead of trying to do them all at once, which means absolutely nothing gets done except stress.
You know, I'm so grateful for the panel and sharing their stories and the difficulties they're going through right now. But Dave, I want to ask you this, because I find this a bit frustrating when you listen to Pete Buttigieg and other folks in the administration, and they talk about rising gas prices. Their answer for that is they say you should go buy an electric car. Well, when you listen to the stories of families, and Michelle's going, listen, I'm almost in tears. I can barely feed my kids. And the answer to people is go buy an electric car. What's your response to that?
Have you priced an electric car? I mean, seriously, JoJo, I mean, my goodness gracious, that's absolutely asinine. The cost of an electric car, and then, by the way, you got to charge the car, and hello with the electric bill. And so, you know, this isn't free. So here's the thing. It was a green electric car, petroleum-hating series of policies that have driven the oil independence that we did have completely off the map. And so parts of this inflation that we're experiencing are not Joe Biden's fault, but 100% of the gas thing, it lands on his desk. He completely has screwed this up. And it's all in the name of green policies or pro-energy policies or anti-petroleum policies. And you're going to see it other places, because guess what? The street they're putting down in front of that new housing, it's asphalt. That's a petroleum product. The shingles that you're putting on those new houses that we're talking about the prices going up on so much, that's a petroleum product. And so you're going to see this land in a whole bunch of other places, and the unintended consequences of these green policies, without having thought it all the way through and are done at least a gradual shift instead of just shutting the faucet off, the supply-demand curve on it is just ridiculous.
You know, so true. Dave, listen, Dave, thanks for giving us advice, and Sandra, John, and Michelle, thank you for sharing your story. We'll be right back.
Thank you.